It's time to prepare our pumpkins for the fall season. Hello, my friends, this is Rozani. And for this video, I'm using a pre-made round shape, which was initially crumpled scrap paper, dampened with liquid starch, pressed in the palm of my hand, and layered with a little bit more of the damp paper. When it hardened, we had this shape to work with, and it was outlined with a few markings because that's where eventually I will add the little wedges. Now here I've made a stem by twisting some paper and securing it into place. Next I'll add tissue paper dampened with the liquid starch to further shape it and hold it into place, because when it dries it will all stick together. It can be shaped further later on, but for now this will work just fine. And I'm moving on to pressing in some indentations where the eyes will be and marking those spaces, as well as for the nose, the mouth, and where the cheeks will be placed. I'll continue working further once the face has been outlined by using the liquid starch to dampen it and adding dampened clusters of tissue paper. Then the process of shaping begins, where I place these add-ons on top of the marked spaces. Let's keep going. I want to welcome everyone, and I'm so glad that you were able to join me. And if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. And I hope that you'll find this to be helpful and fun as I continue to work on completing this little papier mâché pumpkin gourd face. I love creating facial features on my little pumpkins and pumpkin gourds. And I hope that this will give you an idea of how you can work on your own pieces and go beyond the basics. So I'm going to continue with adding on, and you can see how it's already begun to show some personality with the facial features while adding a bit of whimsy along the way. Moving right along, I like to apply layers of tissue paper on top of it to further hold it into place. And of course, I'm keeping it damp with the liquid starch. Now, I do need to add some more details here. And I twist the paper to create this little bottom part of the lip, and pressing it right in. The process is simple. It's mostly time-consuming, but it works out so nicely. As I'm sculpting softly, it's very soothing and relaxing for me. If you have made it this far into the video, would you please leave me a little jack-o'-lantern icon? Thank you so much. I'll continue to work on these features and have sped up the video. The process is very repetitious, but necessary. As far as getting everything to be pressed into place quite tightly, it's very important to go over each piece and make sure that it is secured into place. It's important to let it dry in between applications because you do not want it to soften to the point where it will begin to collapse. But if it is sturdy enough, then you could continue working on it with the liquid starch. As I've done here, it's holding out pretty good. So I'm going to keep going. Now these are only the initial stages, shaping it, giving it form and personality. Later on, more bulk can be added to it and the details can be refined. As for now, we have a nice little face and it's happy. And I continue working on the forehead and the eyelids and adding on to the cheeks. You can make them quite chubby. I love adding cheeks to these faces. And now I'm going to make some little eyeballs by rolling a few pieces dipped in the liquid starch and just placing them inside the sockets like this. And I'm continuing with the shaping, pressing as I go, deciding how I want this mouth to be. It will begin to change through this entire process. I like the open mouth idea for this piece because I want it to be laughing. As a side note, I want you to know that if you haven't worked with the liquid starch method using different types of paper, they do take a long time. Now, you can shorten your drying time by placing your pieces in front of a fan. Otherwise, you can let them dry overnight. He seems to be coming along just fine and looking quite happy. But I'm going to go a little bit beyond the basics. There's a little more work ahead on this particular piece. Even though it's small, it will still require large amounts of paper to build it up and to add more details. So, where do we take it from here? Well, we fill it in wherever possible and decide on what we will do next. You can always make the nose a little differently or work on the eyes a little bit more, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some bottom lids just under the eyeballs. And I'm pressing them into place, but there again, I'm going to cover it with a piece of this tissue dampened with the liquid starch. And you see how nicely it holds it into place. And then I could complete the shaping process by just going into the crevices and pressing down and working all the way around. Have you ever made any pumpkins like these? Do you enjoy making little pumpkins and gourds and working with different types of paper? I love using all types of paper, but the tissue paper and paper napkins work the best for me as far as building up features and making add-ons for these particular projects. These types of papers keep the project very lightweight. Now I'm going to enhance these wedges and make them stand out, starting with the top and going around. This little pumpkin gourd is on a small scale. So if you are going to make a life-size pumpkin, it would take you much more time. And you'll need more supplies. This is a good scale for me because it helps me to use up my scraps. I can make several of them in less time than it would take to make a larger pumpkin. And honestly, these little guys are so much fun for me to create. And I'd like to add that one of the reasons I enjoy working so much on these little pumpkins and pumpkin gourds is to turn them into figurines. So let's move right along. Of course, I allowed it to dry, and you can see how textured it is. But I'm going to continue. And I'm marking over the little segments again so that I can place the wedges next to each other and fatten up this little pumpkin, rounding it out a little bit more. Let's keep going. This size pumpkin gourd is so practical. You can fit several of them into a basket or use them as part of a centerpiece. You can turn this into a goblin. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll notice that I enjoy adding legs to these little guys. Also, I enjoy doing full figures. And when I talk about going beyond the basics, I mean going into more details. Because there's so many possibilities. And this is only touching the surface, but still exploring the many different variations on a theme. I will be creating more pumpkins and pumpkin creatures as we ease into the fall season. And I hope that you'll continue to join me for my videos, as well as during the premieres and replays, or visit my Patreon page to see how much further I go beyond the basics, and join for free. Please note This project takes between 3 to 5 days until completion. The finished stages will be shown in a separate video or a short snippet. But if you'd like to see some of my past pumpkin projects, feel free to visit my playlist shown here for similar content on making mini pumpkin faces. I want to thank you for having joined me on this festive fall little pumpkin project. And I do hope that you'll join me in the future. I'll say bye for now and hope to see you next time.